Introduction. Like most people, I never really planned to get cancer. I had plans for other things: retirement, holidays, career, family, mowing the lawn. But I hadn't planned to get a severe and long-term illness. Pretty much straight after I was diagnosed, I made up my mind to document my journey as I went through and share it with others. I started writing a column for an online news site in my native New Zealand. Initially, I thought I might write one a week or so until I was better. So perhaps a dozen or so articles. Many of these articles were very widely read and shared and seemed to strike a chord with many people. In the end, I wrote more than 60 instalments over 18 months. And while I didn't always feel like writing, particularly during the worst parts of the chemotherapy treatment, I'm glad I did, for a number of reasons. Firstly, writing about things as they happen ensures you don't forget any of the details and stops you using rose-tinted hindsight to rewrite the past. Each time I wrote, I didn't know what was going to happen next, which I'm glad about. Some of what happened next wasn't worth looking forward to. Secondly, I found the feedback from readers very encouraging and uplifting. I had so many good comments and people contacting me to tell me that the columns were helpful that it made up for any minor inconvenience or embarrassment from sharing my story, warts and all. Although, for the record, I never got warts. Pretty sure they were just pimples. Thirdly, as you'll discover, writing these columns ultimately led to the solution to my problem, as it put me in touch with the very people who could help me. This book repackages those columns, but adds to them and rounds out some of the narrative, while retaining, I hope, the real-time authenticity. I resisted the temptation to revise the facts or the time frame, though. I also wanted to step outside the main story to give some of my reflections on happiness, purpose, and other such worthy things that would bore the readers of an online news site, but hopefully will interest people as erudite as you, and with as much disposable income as you obviously have. In telling the story of my battle against cancer, I discovered how common my plight was. So many people get cancer at some stage during their lives. This is a disease that impacts virtually everyone. And yet, most people's knowledge about cancer, its treatment and its impacts is woefully limited. I had no idea what chemotherapy entailed before I needed it, or of the very real effects of the disease. And that's despite me having family and friends who'd had cancer and even died from it. I also decided pretty early on in my battle that I'd use the word cancer loudly and proudly. In my previous experience, the C word was one you didn't say out loud in polite company. It was a whispered and worried about term. Talking about cancer in the abstract was okay, but talking about a particular person having it was taboo. Over the past year, I've become quite relaxed about talking about my illness and treatment. However, I realise that's not the case for everyone, and everyone has their own hardships and their own path to forge. This story is my own, and in telling it, I don't want to trivialise the journey or the challenges that other people suffer. I hope I don't offend anyone, and if I do, I apologise. Mine was a tough journey, but others have it much tougher. Not everyone is as lucky as me. Finally, can I take the opportunity to say thank you? There are far too many people to thank individually here, so it'll have to be a collective thanks to my family, friends, medical teams, and many others who supported me and my family through this journey. It's a journey I hope you never have to go on, but if you do, I hope this book will help make it easier. Ngā mihi nui, David.